Hello, Virgo, and welcome to Indigo Rising Tarot. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you're having a great day. This will be your weekly reading for the week of May 3rd through the 9th. And during that time, we mostly have a waning gibbous. That's pretty much all week. And a waning gibbous is that's us coming off that full moon, high energy, bright energy. And we kind of start to die down into this self-reflection and we're being rebirthed, reborn again. We're going to make positive changes and really get rid of our bad habits and our negative thinking. So now we're trying to push through to the end of achieving those goals that we've set for ourselves and accomplishing those things that we started at the beginning of the cycle. We then have the last quarter moon that comes in on the 9th. And that is, really just kind of that final push, the realization of those things that we've been working on. And again, just getting rid of all the negativity. So keep those moon energies in mind as we move through the week. This will be an intuitive general reading for energies that you may or may not encounter. So as always, Virgo, please take what resonates here today and leave what doesn't on the table for someone else. And your overall message for this reading is nothing is yet set in stone. Okay, I feel like I've had that card a few times in this series of readings. If I could remember all the signs, but I can't. This is partially what makes me great at tarot reading. I could read your cards 1 minute and the next minute I have no idea what we've just, what I've just read for you. I completely forget. So I think that's kind of a good thing sometimes, especially for one-on-one readings. They get very, very personal, very private, and we go very deep, and then I just don't remember. So anyway, I think that's a good thing to say, good thing to have anyway. All right, let's get into this reading. Before we do, as I'm shuffling, my fun weekly reminder this week is that you try to take some time to meditate, Virgo. If it's not something that you do, just try to work that into your life, even if it's just 5 minutes a day, or if you can, set aside a couple, half hour, 20-minute sessions a couple times a week, but just get yourself in a quiet place and close your eyes and just relax your mind and your body and just go within and explore. So again, if it's something you already do, then you know what I'm talking about. If not, maybe try to give that a try this week. Just the energy seems right this week to give that a shot. So that is my fun weekly reminder for you. And with that, I will quit babbling. Let's get into this reading. So Virgo, May 3rd through the 9th. Nothing is yet set in stone. Your present energy right now is the 3 of Pentacles here. So looks like some sort of creative collaboration with someone. This could be coming together on so many different things. This could be something at work, where you're collaborating with some other people. This could also just be, like a home improvement project that you're doing. You're talking to your spouse and other people in your family, getting opinions that way, maybe talking to a contractor or different things like that. So anything, could be a creative project that you're involved with where you're literally creating something. You could be, writing songs, you're doing an art project. So some sort of collaboration where you are coming in with other people and just kind of comparing notes and doing things together like that. Your current situation is the Judgment card. So maybe in this, you're learning some new information. Judgment is about when we gain, new information, it changes our awareness, right? So um that could be something that's happening, is that you're making some judgment of the situation of the people around you, or even your own yourself. Some sort of truth is coming to light that is making you kind of evaluate some things as you're going through this creative process. At the root of this situation is the King of Wands. So it's something that you're very passionate about and something you're very knowledgeable about too. So this judgment could be if someone offers, maybe you're very knowledgeable. Let's say it is let's say it is an art project, and you've devoted your life to this art form, and someone is coming in this collaboration and saying, let's do it this one particular way, and you already through experience know that that's not going to work, that maybe the artistic medium you're working in doesn't work like that, or you just know, and you're kind of making a judgment like, oh, this guy doesn't know anything about what he's so it could be something like that, where it's kind of like your knowledge pushing up against someone else's lack of knowledge, maybe. So you're kind of making a judgment there. But just make sure if a situation like that arises that you are, just you could be okay to inform and not degrade somebody or say, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. Just say, well, in my experience, here's how this works with that, and maybe you're enlightening them in a very kind and nice way. You can do that without bringing another person down, right? In your recent past here is the Five of Swords. So, it could be that you are colored through, your judgment might be colored by some recent past interaction, either with this person or just in general, that you're kind of, there's a prejudice that's coming, a prejudgment, right, that's coming in because maybe you've been in a meeting like this before and, oh, this reminds me of this other guy. I didn't know what he was talking about either. So make sure you're not doing that. Make sure you're not letting that past opinion come in and make you act in a certain way. Or, think about a situation in the past where that did come about. How did you handle it? Did it go well? Could it have gone better? Did you learn from that situation? This might just be you presented with this again to see if you can do better this time. The universe likes to do that. Let's see what we're learning, right? Little tests. What's on your mind this week? The Chariot card. So it looks like you're preparing to make some sort of movement. So this could be why this collaboration. It could be, let's say that that this is some sort of art project and you're not really moving on it yet or starting it yet. It's supposed to maybe come about next month, but the meetings are starting and you're starting to have these conversations about it. But the Chariot's about kind of gathering information before the thing actually gets done. So that's kind of where your mind is right now, is in that information stage. What is just ahead of you this week is the Eight of Cups. So you're definitely moving into your future with support at your back. So I feel like, when it comes to coming out of this set of meetings or whatever people that you're talking to about this, that you're feeling good. You're feeling like, I'm going to move into the future with some support calmly. I can be very confident that things are going to go the way they should, in a good way. What is in your advice position here is the Temperance card. So, this is our angel of the deck, right? This is being inspired by something. This is, us being centered and just really balanced. But it's also about reaching fulfillment, and doing things that are rewarding. When we're inspired to do something and we do something because of that inspiration, it's very rewarding kind of work or project to be involved with. So that's your advice, is to be inspired and let that inspiration guide what all of your decisions are in this creative process also. What is beyond your control this week is the Five of Pentacles here. So, this card is about feeling a little bit like an outsider. So it could be that maybe because of this person that speaks up. And again, I'm going back to this example. Tarot is a template. It can template. It's energy template. So this can template over whatever situation you're in. But let's say, during this creative meeting and this person speaks up and they don't really know what they're talking about, and you're very knowledgeable about this thing, and they're reminding you of a person of the past. They might just for a split second make you kind of question things and kind of feel like an outsider, and make you feel, sometimes people just have a way of just making us feel not as bright as maybe we are. And again, be kind to that person. Even if you're getting that kind of pushback and it's making you feel like an outsider or making you feel a little bit uncomfortable, make sure that you just, in a kind way, correct that person with the knowledge that you have. Again, look back on a situation. If you've been here before, if this is just another retest of that, might be, sometimes the universe is like, did you really learn that lesson? Let's try this again and see what happens this time. So again, try a different way. If something you did before didn't work, or if that worked, now fine tune it and do it again. What is, let's see, your secret desire, or what are you trying to avoid this week, is the Star. So the Star is a card about a direction, being and direction, like you're on the right path. So, is it your secret desire to kind of be driven by things so that, how do I explain this in this position here? Is it your secret desire to, the Star card is about kind of things are written in the stars, things that are meant to happen. Is that your secret desire? Is that you kind of, are opening yourself up to whatever will be, that you feel like you are on course? Or are you a little bit afraid of that? Are you trying to avoid that? Do you feel like, and sometimes that would be kind of avoiding the path that the universe kind of keeps putting you on, if that makes sense. That the universe is like, look, this is kind of where you need to go. Here's the signs, follow these signs over here. And you kind of push that aside. So that's a big question for you this week. And that's a pretty big question in life is, is there a flow to your life, or do you kind of feel this pushback and this push in this other direction? Sometimes we just have to follow that direction and see a little bit where it goes. It might be a little more rewarding and actually put us in a place that has us doing the things that we really love to do. What is in your outcome position here is another card of moving into the future. So much like this 8 here of cups is the 7 of swords, is definitely moving into the future in calm waters on an intellectual way. So you're kind of letting the past roll behind you in these very calm waters and just moving forward with, towards new thoughts and ideas. So, and that could be, like I said, with that star card, are you being open to new thoughts and ideas that the universe might be presenting to you? Or are you kind of giving a little pushback? Again, that's your big question of the week. What is hidden from you here at the bottom of the deck is the strength card. So, and I'm only laughing because if you have to stand up against someone that is, that does kind of make you feel a little uncomfortable, a little bit like an outsider. Sometimes that's just putting your big pants on, right? Putting your big boy or girl pants on and saying, okay, and be strong enough, and have enough confidence to really just push back and say the thing. Again, nothing is yet set in stone. You're kind of working on this. The Chariot card indicates that you haven't even made a move on this yet. We're in kind of the planning phases. So so make sure that you do speak up and say the things that you need to say in whatever situation it is. When you're passionate about something and you know a thing for sure, definitely have that, go ahead and give that pushback a little bit. All right, let's see what you need to, what our final wrap up here from the Soul Oracle deck for Virgo. Let's see, nothing is set in stone. See if I missed any numbers on here. I don't think so. You do have a couple of 5s on the table. You may want to look up angel number 55 and see if that has any bearing on anything that you're going through right now, Virgo. All right, let's get you a final message here. Take the lead. Yeah, take the lead and be strong enough to do that. Be strong enough to say, well, hold on a second here. I kind of know what I'm talking about. That's hard to do, especially if it's a strong personality that you're going up against, or there's just some people that it's just harder to push back a little bit against, but strength is hidden from you, so you're gonna have to pull that up from somewhere. But make sure you're taking the lead, especially when it's something that you just know for sure, and you just have to, you'll know the moment, and you're gonna know that you just have to speak up and say the thing that needs to be said. All right, let's see what you need to do in the way of self-care for Virgo this week when it comes to this situation. And the card that you get is the card that says decision. All right, and it's kind of reminding me a little bit of that judgment card. I guess if it was justice, I would feel with the scales there. So sometimes the best decision is no decision at all. So again, you are in the information gathering stage, but I would speak up. The decisions may not be being made, but I would make your opinion known this week. Especially if it's someone who, again, appears to be strong and be able to kind of push back, but don't let yourself get lulled into feeling like an outsider or not pushing back a little bit. Just speak up and, again, take the lead. You're strong enough to do that, Virgo. Hello, you're a Virgo, right? You know what you're capable of. So, Virgo, thank you so much for being here. If you have any questions at all, of course, or if this is resonating, drop me a comment down below and please let me know. I would love that so much, and interacting with you, and it helps me as a reader to know, like, am I hitting things that's going on in your life? I do get that kind of feedback a lot from people, and it's kind of funny. Some are very uncanny. The similarities between the readings, especially with general readings. This is for all Virgo signs. It may or may not resonate, but it is nice for me to know when it does. So also, if you like my reading style, hitting like and subscribe really helps me and helps my channel. I appreciate that so much. So thank you in advance so much for doing that for me. And Virgo, good luck with this situation, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.